Welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is February 22nd, and that means day 53 of the 3DP 365 project. But on today's episode, we had a little bit of a print fail, and we did get some fresh prints from the old gMax, so stick around. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 53 of the 3DP 365 project. If you're unfamiliar with the project, check out the description below. I put a fact section down at the bottom that'll give you all the details. And don't forget to use that MatterHackers affiliate link if you ever need a printer parts, or even filament. It kicks a little bit back to the channel and it doesn't cost you a thing, and we really appreciate it. So for today's episode, we had a little bit of a print fail. The BLTouch malfunctioned and dropped into the printer and pretty much destroyed the print. And in the process, it destroyed the BLTouch. But thanks to the awesome support over at gCreate, I have a replacement touch on the way and we'll be printing with the new gMax soon. But in the meantime, we unearthed the old gMax and we got some fresh prints from that, so we'll talk about those today. And for those prints, we used MatterHackers PRO PLA in the color of Burgundy and Tan on the original gMax 1.5 XT+. So like I said, we had a little bit of a malfunction and a print fail. The BLTouch actually malfunctioned, and it looks like the pin possibly dropped down into the print and caused a little bit of a mess. And that mess would be this. This was the kernel, and this is the part that survived, and then there's this. So we have this stuff. When I got home and I was watching the time-lapse, I noticed that the BLTouch pin had dropped down into the print, and it kind of carved out its own little place there in the model. And then after that, it created all of this. And in the process, the pin snapped off and ended up somewhere in the middle of all this. But thanks to the awesome customer service and support over at gCreate, I was able to email them at the last minute last night, and today I got notification that a USPS package with the new BLTouch is on the way. So we'll be back up and printing with the new gMax really soon. But in the meantime, we were able to unearth the old gMax and get some fresh prints going. First, we ran a Benchy in Burgundy, and that turned out pretty sweet. Then I decided to print one of those little figures from the Around Town collection from MakerBot. Since we had a little problem with the previous print, I wanted to give the old gMax a try on one of these. And for that print, we used some of that PRO PLA in the color of Tan. So let's head over to Thingiverse and I'll show you where to download the model. Then we'll tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for the print. Then we'll fire up some of that time-lapse footage and I'll meet you guys back here at the workbench and we'll talk about the print. Okay, so here we are at Thingiverse. Here is Boris the Street Musician by MakerBot, and I'll put the link down in the description so you can download and print this yourself. And of course, this is part of that Around Town collection, the collection of figures that I just love to print from Thingiverse. And of course, we've already printed ours, so let's tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for this print. Okay, so here we are in Simplify 3D, and I've dropped the model down on the print bed at 100%, and you can see this is a pretty detailed model. So let's check out my process settings. Under layer height, we did a 0.16mm layer height with 3 top and 3 bottom solid layers and 3 perimeters. We also ran a brim by entering 0 in the skirt offset at 4 outlines. For infill, we used 20% for this little figure, and we didn't generate any support material. For temperature, this is MatterHackers PRO PLA, so my temperatures are 207 and 209. And under cooling, we have a simple 2-stage cooling system set up. And under speed, we ran this out at 35 millimeters per second, because we are printing on the old gMax and I want to make sure we get all that detail. So let's hit OK, and let's hit prepare to print, and I'll show you how it slices. Okay, so there's your finished sliced model, and let me play this through so you can see how it prints. And as always, that MakerBot emblem on the bottom of the feet. And as you can see, the little saxophone prints right here, and he's got his little hands holding on, and there's a lot of little detail on here. And our print turned out pretty good. So let's go ahead and fire up some of that time-lapse footage, and I'll meet you guys back over at the workbench and we'll talk about the print. Okay, so like I said, the first thing we ran was the Benchy, and that turned out pretty sweet. I don't see any real problem with this besides a little bit of stringing. And remember, this is the old gMax. The next thing we ran out was that MakerBot figure, and this guy turned out pretty awesome. There is a little bit of red left over on his feet from the previous filament, and I didn't clean out the extruder. I kind of just wanted to get a print going for day 53. But the print itself turned out pretty great, and I'm pretty happy with the results. And I'll try and let this focus. I've reduced the lighting in here so maybe we can see this a little bit better. But the print itself turned out pretty great, and I'm pretty happy with the results. All the little detail turned out great. His little saxophone looks really cool, his little hat. There is a little issue with this overhang, but that's a pretty steep overhang, and I kind of expected it. The print itself turned out pretty good. The old gMax did a really good job of capturing all this detail. So until the new BLTouch arrives, we'll be using the old gMax for our daily prints. And I really want to give a big shout out to gCreate. Their customer service and support team is one of the best I've ever worked with. They were there to answer all my questions late at night, and this morning I was happy to see that they had already shipped out the new replacement part. So a huge thank you to the guys over at gCreate. Your customer service is top notch. Well, that about wraps it up for day 53 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope you found this episode interesting and informative. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and join me again tomorrow on the very next episode of the 3DP 365 project. I'm really happy with the old gMax print quality. It's still kicking butt, and I probably should have cleaned out the extruder before I started running some of this tan filament, because you got red on you.